Hi, I'm Danielle von Zerneck, and I had a wonderful time on $2 late fee with Zach. We talked about my science project, La Bamba, dumb movies I loved and saw over and over again, and other stuff. So enjoy.
I'm surprised too, because Danielle von Zerneck is on the show and we had a great conversation. You're going to hear it right now, but really quickly, quick plug. If you want to support the show, keep the lights on at the $2 late fee video store, go to patreon.com/$2 late fee. Sign up today for all the fun that we have on this show and a whole lot more. And wherever you're watching this, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, whatever it does to keep us going and boost us, blah, 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 all that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching and supporting the show. Let's get to our radical intro and then Danielle von Zerneck. Hit it.
Congrats! You found $2 Late Fee, the best 80s movies podcast in the world.
We revisit our favorite 80s movies.
And sometimes 90s.
And soundtracks from our youth. And then we interview our favorite people who helped make them. All in the spirit of nostalgic positivity.
Thanks for listening.
Danielle von Zerneck, it is an honor to have you on $2 Late Fee. Thank you so much for being on the show.
Oh, thanks for asking me. It's an honor. Thank you.
I love how you look at me like, no, is it really? No, it is. I got to ask this question now because this is becoming like kind of a running joke. I had a guest on a couple months back named Ollie Ride. He's a musician, current musician, and he was waiting in the Zoom and he's like, "Oh, am I late? Because it says here I'm going to be charged a $2 late fee for being late to your show." And I go, "No, that's a video store
How
reference."
old is he? Was he like in his 20s?
He was in his 30s, but I'm like, dude, it wasn't that long ago.
No, no, I know it's a very good title for a podcast for sure.
I appreciate that. We're growing up as a kid, teenager. Was there a video store you frequented back in the day?
Oh, that's a great question. I There was a place on on La Brea called Rocket Video
Yes.
that I went to that was amazing. And I remember they were the first people, well, that I was aware that did started doing DVDs. And
Okay.
I remember seeing Leonardo DiCaprio before they had DVDs going, "Do you have any DVDs?" So, right, because he was, of course, ahead of the curve because he was a young, hip guy.
Of course.
And then where else? When I lived in New York, there was a place in the Village that was on a second floor on 7th that I went to that I loved. And then I was really near, there was a really good place. What was that really like cinephile place? I think it was on Bleecker.
Was it called Kim's?
It was Kim's.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. And I mean, Jesus Christ, right? And every so often I would go, no, I never really went to Vidiot's because it was too far away for me. Um, but those, I think that those are my ride or dies.
Yeah, we have a friend of the show, Cinema du Meep. That's his handle. I think he's in the kid. He worked at Kim's Video for a
Oh,
while.
wow.
Yeah,
Wow.
back in the day. He's the one who kind of got me hip to Kim's, and there's a documentary about Kim's Video.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
right. That's right. Yeah.
You mentioned Vidiot's, and Vidiot's is now in like Eagle Rock. They
Yeah,
moved, right?
no, I know.
So, and they're doing really well as far as like with their movie theater and screenings and whatnot. And yeah, it's so funny to ask that question to you. And of course, you connect right away with certain video stores that you went to, but not always is that the case with certain people I have on the show. They go, "I never went to a video store." Like,
Wait, but not actors.
yeah, oh yeah,
Wait,
sometimes.
what?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
So like a guy like Keith Coogan said, "Well, I worked in a video store." And then we had a whole conversation about that. But, sometimes I'll get yeah, I didn't really go to the video store. I'm like, "Wait, your parents must have taken you to the video store. Come on."
that's interesting. Where did you grow up?
So I was born in Michigan, but I grew up in the Bay Area.
Uh-huh.
And I worked at a video store called Video Man. And then I worked at Tower Records in the Bay Area.
Oh,
And
whoa.
nostalgia is such an interesting thing because our recollections may not be accurate, but it's like that warm, fuzzy blanket, and that's why I've been doing the show for as long as I have, because there's something about these movies, this time, this era that I talk about with our guests on the show that brings listeners and watchers back to that warm, fuzzy feeling, that VHS tape you put in on a constant basis. My science project was a repeat watcher back in the day.
Uh-oh. The most outrageous science fiction comedy of the summer is here.
What do you call this, Wawa?
My Science Project.
Hey, I seen lights like this at an Ozzy Osbourne concert. What's he saying?
He's going to kick our...
What are we gonna do?
About 1 to 5 with good behavior.
It's totally out of control. My Science Project.
Think of the fun.
Rated PG. Now playing in a theater near you.
It's such an interesting, I'm sure Raphael's talked about it, because it's either you were a My Science Project, which made you a super nerd.
Yes.
Or Weird Science, which made you pretty mainstream, or Real Genius, which made you kind of smart.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yes, totally.
I think those were the three categories,
Well, they all came out. I mean, let's jump into that. My Science Project, it came out the same year as Real Genius and Weird Science, the Summer of Science, 1985, 40 years ago.
Who would have known? I don't know if the studios ever thought that was going to happen. That I love it. I'm sure it's not done the same way, but the idea of people sitting in a room go, we need some teen science movies. What do we got for the summer?
Yeah, so look, we got hot cars and women, but we need some science.
We need something, for those kids, Revenge of the Nerds crowd.
Yeah. And I agree with you. Weird Science is like the mainstream one. Real Genius, that also has a warm place in my heart, specifically because Martha Coolidge.
If I'm gonna, gun to head, I think that was the best of them, for sure. Just as a straight up, does it succeed as a movie?
Right.
I think, and honestly, I think Weird Science has plot holes, and it was more a feeling state.
Yes.
I feel like that was just more about, let's ride this John Hughes wave a little bit further, and as opposed, but ours, I feel like, was from a super nerdy world, and Jonathan Betchell and his sort of previous work, I think, lent itself.
Right.
And then, it's such an odd thing that Jonathan Taplin was our producer. Do you know what I mean? Do you know who he is?
Well, tell listeners who don't know.
So Jonathan Taplin, produced Taxi Driver and shit. He was a cool, very, very cool indie producer.
Yeah.
And I found him as scary as hell. He was, I don't know. I was so young. It was my first feature. And I don't know how old I must have been 18, 19. I can't remember, something like that, but I was super young.
Yeah.
And, I knew who he was because I was a film nerd, and it was just what the fuck am I doing here? And then, and I was the only girl in it.
Right.
Besides, what's her name? Who's such a good actress? The older woman. Well, she was older than me.
Oh yeah. Anne Wedgeworth.
Anne Wedgeworth. She's
So
fucking
great.
class on a stick,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
She's amazing. And, but besides that, it was just me and the dudes. You know what I mean?
And it was a heavy dude testosterone level with, Fisher Stevens obviously playing that, he so wanted to, a lot of teenagers, I think boys can relate to that. They so want to be that cool guy, but maybe they're that kind of scrawny kid, but they still want to look cool.
The Curtis Armstrong, what I mean? It's very much that type from that trope, right?
Yeah.
From that time. But look, They were so lovely, especially not that John wasn't, but John was like 20 fucking 8, right? Or 26 or something. I can't remember. He was so much
Yeah.
older. And he definitely hung out with Fisher and Raphael. Like they definitely were a tribe, but it was really Fisher and Raphael, and then their really good friend Craig Sheffer, and they all kind of hung out. And they did. I don't know if Raphael told you they at one point were staying on like up Sunset Plaza someplace in a really nice place. I think it was like fucking Chevy Chase's fucking house or something, or
Really?
yeah, and Chevy Chase had stolen from Las Vegas. I'll always remember this
Of course he did.
metal parking sign from Las Vegas that said parking for Frank Sinatra only. And it was really cool. And I was like,
Amazing.
yeah. Anyway, I totally remember that. But they were the energy. They were the hub, those two. And they
Wow.
were very generous with me. Yeah.
Well, and as like you said, this is your first feature you did. That's intimidating to walk into a situation where you're like, okay, this is one, you've got a producer who's scaring the crap out of you. Two, you've got co-stars who, some of them obviously. John Stockwell, that's funny. Being older reminds me of that scene in Swingers when Vince Vaughn talks about the audition for the little kid, and he's, anyways, so relatable. But you handle yourself so damn well. Like, that's the thing about your character or your acting. I think that always stood out to me was it felt so relatable and you felt so real and it was so
Good.
refreshing. It wasn't a cliche, especially in my science project. I think my science project has a lot of charm to it and definitely gets overlooked,
Yeah, but I mean, I think it's found its little grouping.
yeah,
It's a little niche, thing. No, and what's great about that role is that she doesn't ever have to glam up.
no, exactly.
She never has to get sexualized.
Right.
You know what I mean? She never had to sort of become the male gaze, which is very rare.
It is rare. I think that's personally why I think Real Genius and My Science Project stand out to me as far as teen movies are concerned because they don't sink to that level of, misogyny where they just have to go there, right? They don't. And
Yeah, like, well, everybody's going to expect it, so we might as well give it to them.
right, exactly. And so what was that like what you saw script wise going into the movie, was it pretty accurate to what we ended up seeing on screen?
Yeah, from what I recall,
Yeah, yeah.
brain synapses weren't, completely, is that you or me? Completely, you know, uh, accurate in my recollections. It was so long ago.
Well, it's funny you say that because Raphael, I had asked Raphael Sabarge, who's been on the show, and he about a year ago, and we were talking about Vision Quest mostly with him, and
Oh, that's a great
oh yeah, it's
movie.
great,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
great.
yeah.
But we talked about my science project as well, and so he had emailed me, and because I said, "Is there anything that stood out to you?" And he said, there was a working dinosaur, in the movie. He said it was animatronic, and that was back in the day when we were. Do you
I
have
don't
any
remember.
recollection about that giant dinosaur?
I don't know if I was in those scenes.
Okay, okay, I don't think you were.
Yeah, no, the no, the things that I recall like were the extraordinary locations. First of all, just being on the Disney lot,
Yeah,
right? Like before it had been Mike Eisner, right? It
right.
was right because it was the first Touchstone movie, I believe.
It was, yes.
Yeah, and so it still was kind of very old school there. And I remember we had some PR guy who was so old school. I'm sure he's probably younger than I am now, but at the time he seemed really old. And he decided to like his publicity stunt was that like it was going to be like a closed set and everybody had to have like, badges and all that. And, no one cared, right? Except Anyway, but it was incredible to be on the Disney lot at that time. It was absolutely incredible. And then I remember when we went to Tucson,
Yeah. Yeah.
um, and the graveyard for airplanes
Yes.
was an incredible location to be on. That was such a treat. I don't even know if it's still there, you
I don't
know.
know if it is either, but as a kid, I, for some reason, idealized a lot of locations in movies. And I'm like, I got to go there. I want to go there. And I had always had this dream to go out to Tucson, Arizona as a kid. You know, my buddy Dustin, he's like, why? So,
It's actually a pretty great place. I'm not
yeah,
gonna lie. I
yeah.
love Tucson. I mean, I spent more time than one would think there because when I was in elementary school, my one of my good friends' dad was Albert Salome, who
Okay.
was a character actor, and he had a series that was on. I don't know the name of the series, and every summer they would go and stay in that hotel motel
Mm,
summer, and I would go with them, and I loved it there. And then my dad did a few movies out there because he did TV movies, and so I stayed there a lot. And then my friend Mia Sarah, no one knows this story. Mia was with this he's actually one of the top stunt guys in BC now,
okay.
Scott and Tia, but they were together for a while. And so and Mia got into interesting things when she was with Scott. And one was she got her pilot's license.
Oh,
She actually went and lived in Tucson so that she could just go get her pilot's license there.
wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And so
Yeah.
she, did you ever fly with her?
No, no. Man, that is an amazing thing, I think. Well, and girls used to do this, subsume yourself so into a relationship that you would need to get a pilot's license is
Oh,
amazing.
this
It was
guy right
pretty
here would do
badass.
this. I did the same thing back in the day. I'm like, oh, you want me to learn another language? Sure, I'll learn
Right.
another language. Okay.
Exactly. I know. That's fun.
I mean, like,
Anyway,
you
I
want me
know
to
we're off
become a
subject.
Baptist? I'll become a Baptist. Sure. And I did for a minute. Anyway, that's a whole other conversation. You said you were a film nerd. And so did you obviously were around film sets as a kid and whatnot, but like, what was it? What were some movies to you that stood out to you? You're like, oh my God, if I could ever make a movie like this, I'd be so happy.
Well, very bizarre. I think it had a lot to do with my parents, and my parents loved movies, and I think my mom was left alone with young kids, and so we went to the movies a lot.
Yeah.
And like on Friday, she would pick us up from school. We would go to Westwood, and we would see a movie, have dinner, and see another movie, and
Oh,
then go home. And then once my dad started making money, and because we were well off for quite a while, and one of the things we would do is we would go and stay at the Westwood Marquee, and we would see 4 movies a day
wow.
and just stay
Wow.
there over a weekend. So
Oh,
that's like who that family was. But like, so the movies that are weird movies that stay with me, like Barbara Popple directed it. It's
okay.
a documentary about coal miners in 1972. It's a seminal documentary.
Whoa, whoa,
Uh, let me see.
I gotta
I got
know.
it. IMDb. Oh, it's if you like documentaries, it's kind of
I
like
do.
why can't it's something Harlan County, USA.
Oh, yeah, I know Harlan County, USA.
Harlan, Kentucky is coal country, where men work long hours for short wages, where poverty, black lung, and needless disaster are facts of life. In 1973, the men voted to join the United Mine Workers Union. The company refused to sign the contract, and so began the Battle of Harlan County, USA.
Which side are you on?
It's powerful, provocative, exciting, and frightening because it's real. Harlan County, USA.
I
Yeah.
know it because when I was in film school, my professor had mentioned it, but he never showed it. He screened a lot of other like Werner
Oh.
Herzog type stuff. But anyways,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
Harlan
loved
County,
like
USA.
that.
Yeah.
I loved Medium Cool.
Oh
I,
yeah, Haskell
uh,
Wexler. Yeah.
what are the movies? We had Z Channel.
Oh yeah.
Right? So we saw everything on that. And what are some other movies? That was the thing. My brother and I, if we loved a movie, we would go see it over and over again. Did you do
Oh
that?
yeah, that's what you did back in the day. You
Yeah.
would watch it over and over again. Unlike now, it's a different culture now, but that was the thing. And that your weekend sounds glorious. Like
Oh
that
my
sound
God, it was amazing. So yeah,
yeah.
yeah. And we saw French films, we saw Italian films. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I like one of my favorite movies, which I don't think will hold up at all, is called Get Out Your Handkerchief, which I think
Okay.
is slightly about pedophilia, if we get into it. But
I
it's
mean,
but it was I loved that movie. And the original La Cage,
mm,
like that movie is I can't, the birdcage is nothing to me. Do you
yeah.
know what I mean?
Yeah.
Lacage was everything. But anyway,
No, that's the thing. And that's maybe one of the beautiful things about my science project, for example, not to
yeah.
compare it to Lacage, but there hasn't been remade. And so there is only one. And there's a beautiful thing about having something untouched, even if it's your whatever your favorite movie is. I always say to people, it doesn't matter what you like. If you like it, that's great. I'm not a huge Star Wars fan, whatever, but I get it if people, it's gospel to them. My favorite films are more on the fromage level of cinema, more cheesy. Did you see my science project in the theater when it came
I
out, or
did.
okay,
We went inside at the Century City at the Plit.
the Plit?
Plitt.
Okay, it's
It's
not there
called the
anymore.
Plit.
Was it at the Century City Mall? Is that
It was before, they tore it down for CAA, and there was
okay?
sort of a
Oh,
Polish thing there, and there was also a theater there. Cats was there for years.
okay.
Yeah, anyway.
The Plit. Okay, so you've seen it, but was that the last time you've seen the movie? Have you watched it fairly recently?
No, you think I would have shown the kids,
Yeah,
but I didn't know.
because it's a
No.
pretty safe movie to show your kids.
Yeah, but I know because my mom was an actress for a hot second, and I really had a visceral reaction to that. It's very,
Mm,
there's cognitive dissonance that goes on. I think it's very uncomfortable for children to watch their parents
yeah.
uh, be so I never, they had to discover it themselves, which I loved because they did. They found my death scene on General Hospital, which I hadn't seen since
Of
it
course they
happened,
did.
which is one of the worst scenes ever in a soap opera. It's beyond nerdy.
Did you know
And
that at the time when you shot
oh
it?
yeah, it was so bad. I mean, okay, I won't go into it, but basically, I die when we're fighting over Jack Wagner. What was his name? John and me and Alyssa Leeds were fighting over a cassette tape, and
Of
then
course.
someone pushed me. My head hit the edge of the table, and I died.
Oh no.
That's how I die. And so the thing about the scene is that you just see me go down, and then they're like, "Oh my God, she's dead." It's just so bad.
No, I haven't
Keep
done
your mouth
anything.
shut, sweetheart. You'll be fine.
What are you gonna do? Please, I haven't said anything.
Told that parish kid, didn't you?
No, I didn't say a word to him. Please.
Too late now.
Stand back. I'm gonna scream. I'll tell you, I'm gonna scream.
Hey, she's around here somewhere. That's her.
I had my shellacked hair. It was great.
Amazing. Do
Yeah,
you know
sorry.
do you know what was on the tape? Was it Jack Wagner's song All I Need?
No, it was something like that. It was the whole premise. It was I died so that John could leave the show, and but the premise was that John had stolen a song.
Mm,
Yeah, I can't remember like that. And so
compelling.
he went to jail. The Blackie went to jail for my murder so that John could be free.
I would have been it would have been nice if you came back as a ghost or something to haunt the show. So
Yeah, I think they were happy to see the back of me.
I'm uh, working on a soap versus working on a film, two totally different monsters.
Absolutely, just two different mediums, you
Yeah.
know.
Yeah. But all of these things, and I do want to talk about La Bamba at some point because I have questions from fans that are specific to that.
Sure.
But you are now in front of you're behind the camera working on a lot of projects it's Wishing Floor Films, and you have, I don't, is it more than 10 Christmas movies? Is that
I don't know if it's 10, but a lot of Christmas movies in a very short period of time.
it's amazing. So my co-host Dustin, who normally is with me, he does this thing in December where he watches like 25 days of Christmas movies nonstop across the
There are
board.
many of those podcasts. Yeah,
Yeah,
they're
and
great.
now he's just like his own personal enjoyment, you know.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah, and then he'll like write a review on it or whatever. It brings him so much joy.
Oh, I mean, I'm proud of our movies. I mean, we did the first gay and then first lesbian Christmas movies for Lifetime that were
Yeah,
just Christmas movies that had same-sex storylines that were no different. It wasn't about coming out. It wasn't about, it was, and I'm really, really proud of those movies, and they're very, very good. And then another Christmas movie that I love to do a shout out is one I did with Rachel Dratch and Anna Gasteyer, which is a parody of a Hallmark Christmas movie. Uh,
yes,
and it's on Paramount Plus now, called A Clusterfunk Christmas. And
yes.
that is funny, straight up funny.
This holiday TV movie season, Comedy Central's got an original holiday TV movie, complete with a hunky lumberjack.
Lean back against my broad chest.
And a businessy businesswoman trying to take over a quaint family business.
I'm here to buy the inn.
Over my dead reindeer.
From the festive minds of Anna Gasteyer and Rachel Dratch comes the most holiday TV movie of the holiday TV movie season. Huh? A Clusterfunk Christmas.
We're actually adapting it as a musical. We
Awesome.
have the director of Oh Mary, yeah, it's happening, and so we're doing that as
Is
well.
this an exclusive? Like, are we hearing this for the first time, or are other
I
people?
don't think so.
Okay, fine.
Yeah,
I mean, you
yeah.
can pretend and tell me that.
Sure. Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, yay. See, so
Yeah, it's it. I mean, it's it's still being written, but
how did you get involved with?
how did I become a producer?
Yes.
It runs in the family. My dad was a producer, and when I wasn't working as an actress, I worked for him in development.
Okay.
And so, I just made those relationships and got trained under by his head of development, who trained me on how to do the work, how to give notes, how to develop a script, what are the steps, blah, blah, blah.
Amazing.
And then I quit acting, and I was kind of raising my children, and then I became like a book buyer, and I worked as a librarian, children's librarian.
Really?
And I was sort of like helped a high school implement a government grant and built their library for them, things like that. And but through that, I got really into YA, and I knew everything. And that's how I ultimately got back in. Was I got with Henson, I had optioned a book, and then my first series was Recovery Road, which was a YA novel that I had found.
Yeah. Wow. That's fascinating to me. You often think about the transition from being on screen to what you do in between or after that. And people often don't think about that. They're like, oh, you're always an actor, or you're always this, or you're always that. And there's so many facets. Working as a librarian, I mean, that's awesome.
I loved it.
That is so cool. What, here in Los Angeles?
Yeah. I mean, it was, I mean, it's not like I didn't go and get a degree in library services. It was at my daughter's school, but they didn't have a librarian.
Okay.
And I ended up digitizing that whole collection and adding 10,000 titles and redesigning it and putting it in
Wow.
a new space and came up with standards and stuff like that. And then I was in charge of uh, like reading fluency and a volunteer thing. So I did
That's
all
so cool.
that. I loved it. I loved it.
That's awesome. I was a kindergarten teacher for 15 years.
Oh
So,
my God, where?
well, one at Buckley, here in,
No, wait, did you know Suzanne Rizzolo? Oh no, she was in the upper school. Never mind. Okay.
no, but I mean, I was there for a really long chunk of time and knew people across the board. And then taught at Wildwood. I taught at Wildwood over here in on the west side.
No way.
Yeah. Anyways, I think it's fascinating that you worked in that field, and I think it's an area that is so underappreciated. You go into a school library, like I love the librarian. I love as a
Well, you
kid.
guys had at Buckley, you guys had like a paid full-time library services librarian.
We did Linda
Yeah.
Pizzera. She was
Yeah.
wonderful. But I remember as a kid, when the book fair would come up and the
I
librarian would
created a book
preview.
fair. Yep.
Oh, you did?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
like that idea of like previewing the book to the kids and you see their faces. I was that kid who's like, oh, I want to get that book so bad. Anyways,
I know. I know.
oh,
I
I
love
love those days.
I do.
So, um, this is a rough segue, but like I said earlier in the beginning of the show, I had Keith Coogan on the show and we talked
Uh-huh.
about the movie Under the Boardwalk.
Uh-huh.
And he was like kind of fascinated that I enjoyed that movie as much as I did.
Oh, it has a huge cult following.
That's what I thought.
Are you ready?
That moment
Are you brothers ready?
is the last weekend of summer. A time of moving on
Yeah, well, I can't surf the rest of my life.
or staying behind.
It's not gonna be the same without you around here, bro.
A time when choices are made
I saw the way you were looking at her.
that change our lives.
That girl I was dancing with, it's Reef's girlfriend.
That's his sister, man.
Between their first kiss and summer's end, everything's coming down.
Surf all your life. Just don't be a surfer all your life.
These are the moments that last a lifetime under the boardwalk.
Yeah, no, and it's interestingly, as far as I understand it, pretty regional. Like there are certain, like I think there's some like Michigan or someplace up in the Northeast
Really?
where like it became like a thing, and you don't know what that is. Was it shown a lot on repeat, like on the weekends or there, it's very funny. I find that movie, again, I think it's because Fritz Kirsch is that's how you say his last
Yeah.
name?
Yes. Yes.
Is an under appreciated director. But I
Vastly.
think they are like I think everybody's like, especially on TikTok, I don't know if you've seen that, everybody's like tough turf. What the fuck? Tough turf, right?
Well, I had Olivia
And
on.
so-
I had Olivia on the show to talk about Tough Turf a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. And I feel like and everybody's going, and this director was kind of cool, right? Like
Yeah.
I think they're kind of realizing that. And I think of the two, Tough Turf was way more fun, but
Yeah.
this was great. And he cast it well. He had all those older like surfers. He had a lot of deep cuts,
Yep.
which I appreciated as much as I could with my limited brain capacity at the time. But the youth is wasted on the young. So,
Well, it's an interesting it's interesting that you bring that up, and I bring up Under the Boardwalk for many reasons. One, the fact that you're in it, obviously, and Keith was in it as well. But Fritz has directed movies that many of my guests have been on. Winners Take All, which is a BMX movie, which was kind of a big deal. Don Michael Paul was the star of that, and that was kind of a big deal in the BMX community.
Sure.
And then you've got Children of the Corn, which is obviously in the
Oh
horror
my God, of
community.
course. Yes.
So like all these things, and I love that he's getting his due now from fans. Obviously Tough Turf is a whole other animal. The fact that movie and by the way, Maggie McKay, who is the director of Vidiots, she runs the Vidiots. has never seen Tough Turf. She's never seen Tough Turf. So mind blown exactly, because we had her on to talk about favorite LA movies of the 80s, right? And so she had, obviously her pick was Valley Girl. And then my other co-host, Grace, her pick was Night of the Comet. And mine was
Oh, that's great.
great. Another,
Sorry, yeah.
again, super like kind of groundbreaking for its time. And then you've got, my choice was Tough Turf because I just think that movie on so many levels really hit me, you know.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
it's cool to see people get appreciated for things that they've worked so far back on. And you specifically, you know, we're talking about My Science Project. We're talking about, you know, Under the Boardwalk. I know, like, look, yeah, you should, you know, dust some the off your shoulder, whatever that expression is, because these movies had an impact. They had an impact on me. They had an impact on the people that listen to this show. A huge audience. I know, not to say my audience is huge, but whatever. And
Huge enough.
Huge enough, exactly. Huge in my own mind. Working on Under the Boardwalk, was that an overall fun experience for you?
It was a hoot. Yeah, it was really, really fun. I really liked everybody. And now remember, a girl, a woman, a young lady whose name I cannot recall had the part, and then they let her go.
Okay. It happens,
Um,
right?
and so I came in after everybody had kind of gotten to know each other
Okay.
a little bit more. Um, and it was really like, you know, the dudes thing, right? Because it was the Lokes and the Vals and
Right.
all of that. But again, oh, but you know what? Brian Wimmer's girlfriend at the time was this model named Erica Anderson. Do you know Erica? So Erica
No.
is now married to Richard Butler of Psychedelic Furs.
Oh, wow.
And she starred in a movie with Nick Cage and someone else. Anyway, you look her up. You should have her on the show. She'd be great.
Okay.
Because she did like she was in, but anyway, and I loved Erica, and she was gorgeous, and she was a Helmut Newton model,
Oh, wow.
right?
Wow. Yeah, that
Like,
was huge in the 80s.
yeah, and Wimmer is like a fucking god, right? Brian Wimmer, he's gorgeous. So the two of them, those Adonises walking around. Whew! But I love them. And then and Roxanne Zoll.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Roxana was so cool because remember back in those days, she was such a serious actress, right?
Right.
Because she had done that Ted Danson TV movie about incest. Do you remember that?
I mean, not offhand, but it sounds familiar.
Oh, it was huge. And she was so good in it.
Was it something about
Let me look it up.
something about Amelia? Was it something about Amelia?
Maybe, yes, maybe you're right.
The following program deals with incest and its painful consequences. It focuses on awareness, communication, and treatment for affected parents and children. The family is encouraged to view together. However, due to sensitive subject matter, parental discretion is advised. Tonight, ABC presents the winner of 3 Emmys and 2 Golden Globes.
Daddy, he makes me have sex with them. She's lying!
The highly acclaimed movie, Something About Amelia.
How could you do that?
A movie too important to miss.
I hate you for what you did. I hate you for it.
Glenn Close.
I am not allowed to speak with my own child.
He obviously wanted her more than he wanted me.
Ted Danson. And in her Emmy-winning role, Roxana Zoll. Something About Amelia. Next.
River's Edge, of
And
course.
also one of, again, a weird movie besides Hester Street. Don't ask me why. I saw that movie. And but Claudia Weil was this director. Oh, Girlfriends. That was one of my favorite fucking movies growing
Really?
up. Girlfriends. I love that movie with and
Awesome.
I watched it recently and it fucking holds up. But
Wow,
she
okay.
did a movie.
Okay, convinced me.
See, I'm a movie nerd.
No, I love it. I love it.
Anyway, what I loved about Roxana was that I thought of her as this incredibly serious actress, right? She had this face. That girl was a super baked Malibu girl. she'd be like, traffic's gnarly and PCH got a book. It
Wow.
was, and I was like, oh my God. And so full of joy. But when you knew her at the Testament.
It was a day like any other. Televisions glowed, radios blared. Breakfasts were being served. Children were playing. Everything was as it should be. When suddenly, it could never be that way again.
Okay, so Testament was during those, like when The Day After came out and Threads, and it was
Oh
a
God. Yeah.
small movie about after a nuclear bomb goes off in a suburb outside of San Francisco.
Oh God.
And
I've never seen Testament. I've seen Day After. I've seen
no Testament.
Miracle
Testament
Mile and
is no, you've got to see Threads if you haven't seen
oh,
Threads.
I've seen Threads. I've seen Threads.
Okay, good. And
It's
but
rough.
Threads and Testament. And I'm the fucked up person who saw Testament in movie theater maybe 6 times. So
Wow. Well, it's a PG movie. And it's
yeah,
90 minutes. 90 minutes is like a sweet spot for so many people.
Shane Alexander and Roxana Zoll like fucking bringing it. They were
Wow.
amazing. Yeah. So
I'm
anyway,
gonna
sorry. Yeah.
no, it's okay. I'll add Testament to my depression movie list.
Oh, it's just the most beautifully realized portrait of what it would be like.
Oh
You know
God.
what I mean? Without
Sounds
it
terrifying.
being, but without, that was the thing, like other, that's what I loved about Threads and that's what I loved about Testament. I just felt like that sense of realism was so, you know, ineffable and dealt more with my fears at the
Well,
time.
it's important though. I mean, there's a great line that Steve Martin has in the movie Grand Canyon, and he
Oh
says,
God, which I don't think holds up, does it?
"No, sadly, there are
Sadly, Lawrence Kasdan. I don't know what happened.
no,
Keep
unfortunately,
going.
there are some it's okay. There are some snapshots. Again, this goes back to I have an expression on the show. I say nostalgia is one hell of a drug because sometimes you go, "Oh, that movie is so great," and then you go back and you're like, "Oh my God, that movie is so bad." But there are some moments in Grand Canyon. One that gets me really choked up as a parent when Mary McDonald drops her son off as a counselor at camp, but she flashes back to when he's a little tyke in the car and she's snapping him in his seat. I mean, it gets me choked up just thinking about it because we've all, as a parent, you've all been there. My son's
Yeah.
11 now and he still likes to hug me and cuddle on the couch and watch movies. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus, for giving me this gift for now because it's not going to be that long until he's too busy with his buddies, and I get that.
So, do you talk about that with your people like what with who've had kids? Like, what movie did you show them? You're like, they're ready. It's going to be fucking great, and it goes down like a lead balloon.
Well, I just did that the other night. So he wanted to watch his first R-rated movie, and we watched Aliens, and he loved it.
Aliens.
Aliens, the sequel.
Okay.
Right? I'm a big like sport movie nerd. So like Breaking Away, American Flyers, North Shore, which is a surfing movie.
Oh yeah. What about Endless Summer though?
I mean, Endless Summer is great, but there is a movie, a martial art movie from the 80s called Best of the Best, starring Eric Roberts, and it came out in 89. Sally Kirkland and James Earl Jones are also in it.
Oh,
And
that must have been a set.
oh yeah, I trust me.
Okay.
And the beautiful thing, there's two things that are beautiful about this movie. One, the lead actor is Asian, and that was not a natural depiction on screen at the time to see an Asian lead actor and to see a very diverse. Chris Penn was also in it too.
Oh, nice.
It's an underdog story with an ending that is so not expected. And so he enjoyed the last 10 minutes of the movie. But up until that point, he's like, Daddy, this is probably the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, Oh no. He's like, it's so cheesy. And I'm like, I know, I know. He's like, the music is so bad. I'm like, I know, I know.
Beautiful, right, son? It's
I just
beautiful.
had a moment with him, because I was like, my expectations. Did you have that with your kids?
I've been trying, while you were talking, I was like, oh, do I? I know I did, but well, I did a terrible.
What'd you do? What
Yeah,
did
it's
you
it
you didn't
was
take him to see Romancing the Stone as a child?
walkabout. Oh my God.
Oh God, walkabout.
Okay. I thought because I remembered as a child, and I remember, oh yeah, he gets lost in the outback, or
Right.
and then and then the kid comes and everything. But I forgot that it started with them witnessing their father commit suicide.
Oh God. It's a Criterion movie, I believe, Walkabout. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I forgot about that. So, and I think, man, my mom took me to some weird ass shit, and
Well,
then
that's the thing.
I
Yeah,
must have just forgotten, right?
totally.
Like I just brought it out because my mom was so desperate to go see movies. Sometimes, like I
Right.
remember, we would go see a movie, and she would just be like, "I'm just gonna have you're just I'm putting my hands in front of your eyes
Yes,
for
that
a
was
little
the
while."
filter. That was
Yeah.
nowadays at home, you whisper into your remote, you're like, fast forward 10 seconds, fast forward 10
Oh my
seconds.
God,
I'm
it's
watching, Bodhi wants to watch Stranger Things. So we're watching the first season, and there's a pretty, revealing like sex scene. And I'm like, fast forward 10 seconds, fast forward 20 seconds. He's like, hey, yo, what's going on? I'm like, fast forward 30 seconds.
so funny.
Anyways.
Speaking of which, I have the album of Streets of Fire. I
Oh,
still have that.
you do. And by the way, that movie I think is going to be the same reaction for my son, where he appreciates 80s movies. He does,
No,
but
that movie stinks. It wasn't good at the time. Let's just be honest.
it again,
And it was a
moments.
feeling
It
state.
was a feeling.
Yeah, we were like, we wanted it to be better than it was. It was one of those
There are
movies.
so many movies like that where you're like, I wanted this to be so good. I will say really quickly, the line that Steve Martin says in Grand Canyon, the in going back to Testament, life's questions are answered in the movies, and where we go. And I love that line. And I love that line as a kid. And I really held on to it. Again, a movie I saw probably when I was too young, whatever. This idea that you can escape, but also learn from it, even if it's a cheeseball movie,
100%.
100%, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
I don't want to take up too much of your time because I don't want to be mindful of your time. If you don't mind, I want to get to
No,
these
no.
La Bamba questions really quick because, of
Okay.
course, La Bamba obviously so impactful.
It's got heart.
All our dreams are gonna come true.
It's got soul. It's got good times.
Richie's got a song headed for the top of the charts with a bullet.
And most of all,
Hello, baby.
rock and roll. It's La Bamba, an American success story. Rated PG-13. Advanced preview Saturday at select theaters.
David Ullman, who's a friend of mine and a friend of the show, he says, I would specifically be curious if she recalls any scenes she filmed that were cut, or perhaps whether or not there was more of a fuller scene that was trimmed down, learning of Richie's death.
No, he shot Luis shot it that way.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. He shot and it would, thank God I knew how to turn on the waterworks. It was just like, and then coming up and a close up of me crying. Yeah. No. Yeah, the only thing I can give is that we had to reshoot that scene where I'm driving him to the airport. And I have that word salad line, I love you, and I'll never let anyone get in the way of our feelings for each other again. That scene. I think we reshot that 3 times.
Wow.
I
Wow.
don't know why. Maybe we sucked.
Because you suck, Danielle. Randy Johnson asks, did you know much about Richie Valens' music or the story beforehand? Like, did you do a lot of research?
I'm a huge music head, so I knew about Richie Valens before, and I knew that he was one of the people who was on the plane with Buddy Holly. So yeah, yes, I did. And then I don't know. Yes.
I know what, like you said, you're a music head, and I would love to do a further episode with you. Maybe have you back on to talk about some of your favorite songs in the 80s. I'd actually like to get you on with Maggie McKay, and you guys could talk about some of your favorite LA movies of the 80s or 90s.
Oh, easily. Yes.
That would be huge. Yeah, obviously La Bamba, so impactful. That soundtrack, speaking of soundtracks, that soundtrack top to bottom is
Oh my God, so solid.
end to
And
end burner.
I was a huge Los Lobos fan way before that.
Same, me too.
Yeah.
Will the Wolf Survive?
Survive, right? Like that was huge. And so it was like, I don't know, everything about that movie was magical. It was all meant to be. It was all meant to happen when it was supposed to happen. And I was at NYU at the time, and it was so weird. I got the job. I shot it in the summer, and I was taking I was in theater, and I was taking a theater final, right? It was about the history of theater. And Luis Valdez was one of my answers,
Well,
right? Because of Teatro Campesino.
oh
which,
yeah.
yeah. So it was all just sort of meant to be, it was a fucking magical summer making that movie, you
Yeah.
know.
Truly, truly. That's so special. It's so special. The next movie on my list to show Bodhi is a movie called 3 O'Clock High, because I've covered that movie extensively. And
Oh my
actually,
God, you know what? I got really close on that.
oh, really?
In fact, I wonder if I couldn't take it because of something else. Yeah. And then, I don't know, no one knows this. I turned down Heather's.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, Lizanne Falk.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. And I knew Noni at the time, and she called me and she's like, please do this movie. And I was like, but they're not, I was living in New York, and I was like, but they're not flying me out. And they should, I had just done Under the Boardwalk, and it was the same studio. And I'm like, they should fly me out.
Yeah.
And I was a fucking idiot. And I know Daniel Waters a little bit now through his best friend, Larry Karaszewski. I know Larry and Emily. And every so often I see him and he goes, I don't know why you turned it down.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
well.
But I heard through, I think Jim Jarmusch or somebody told me that Lizanne she's so cool. And she was like, I'm so grateful she turned down that job because it gave me a career, and it gave me my career, and I'm so happy. You know what I mean? And I think if I had taken it, my life wouldn't be what it is. So,
Right.
and I have two daughters that I fucking love. And I just don't know what would have happened. So
Those amazing what if moments, sliding door moments, choices that we make. It is interesting in reflection after the fact. Once you're out of it, you can look back and kind of laugh at it or whatever.
yeah,
And I'm so glad that you appreciate where you are now, and because of the choices that you've made. And I love that.
no regrets.
Danielle, thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
You're absolutely welcome. Thank you so much. All right. Take care, Zach.
You too. Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Oh, listen, I just wanted to say goodbye and remind you that the good guys always win, even in the 80s.